There you go. Big reset. Okay, three, two, one.
All of his... It's bucket time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by...
By sheer luck. Don't know why it took so long to press the keypad.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical...
It does look like Josh's runs today. But as he said earlier this year, I'm not doing a zombie run. No. This run is for PV. I'm not doing zombie runs. There's not a lot that I need to practice. Like the most of what I need to practice, I guess, is this parkour bit here, and the early jump off the conveyor machine that I threw a runway by the boxes room.
Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
That's the only one I need to practice more.
And Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Lovely.
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very
Look at
nearly
that.
burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that it was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well. Had the bucket been told to do things it
Didn't wish to do.
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
Never.
He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy.
Or sad. Or content.
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley just...
There we go. That felt like exactly the same as my last attempt. Be a bit slower, because I did mess up
Was it over?
getting up the seat and the table.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
Bucket wanted to learn how to
Begin
roller
watching
skate.
any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned.
I want to try that
They'd live together
as a joke.
with one another to lead
Like
on
watch like a
to
TV
support
series,
and-
but like download it, I guess, cut it halfway
Wait,
through,
What was happening?
and then just reverse the second half of
Was
the
Stanley
video,
and the bucket not about
and then
to
just
agree?
do what Stanley Parable says Stanley wants to try.
The room, lingering
Just an
in
exterior. Why don't you do it in a YouTube video?
until finally
Just
the truth hit
how
Stanley's
weird would
scared
that be?
face. This building did
Instead
not
of watching a
want the
random
bucket to
YouTube
be.
video, and halfway through, you go to the end,
Reality
and it's
itself
played backwards.
recognized the
Oh my god, that sounds so
incredible
dumb, I
presence of
like
the
it.
bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, or go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he
Yeah,
has
the bucket.
To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
8, 7, 6. I know, right? 5, 4. Oh my god, please. 3, 2. Nice.
All of it's bucket time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
When Bruffy did it, he experienced all the stages of being a speedrunner in what, 3 hours? Like the excitement for starting, the enthusiasm of like getting a first run done, and then the anger of not getting everything going their way. And then the rage quit at the end. It's a perfect cycle of a speedrunner.
Manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of...
There we go, that was much cleaner. I might have to click the buttons right in the center of the button. Maybe that's how it works properly.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
There we go. Very nice.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Mind Control Facility.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this.
That time he
It
failed
very
there.
nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things
It didn't wish to do.
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
In Stanley's feeble mind.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
Never.
He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley but at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls.
What?
Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself?
The bucket.
How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Birds.
Silly birds.
There
The
you go.
control buttons became
Is that the
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control
That's a funny
facility
one.
at all.
Owls. That's pretty
It
funny.
was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise
Back
its
here.
true intentions.
Ooh.
Had the
Ooh.
bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hand.
I'm guessing that's the
one
door,
who
right?
pointed him
Yeah.
towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, living through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable.
Silly birds.
Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Eight. 7. 6. 5. Hey!
It's bucket time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Nice.
Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Was the bucket
Yes,
guiding
this
him?
is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I wonder if somebody could make the entire Stanley Parable map in something like Gmod. Like, so that every room is, every ending's like connected. That would be pretty cool. I don't know how possible that is though, because especially when it comes to the new content stuff. It's an entirely new office when I get to the memory zone.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
Oh,
To be sure,
meaningless.
it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Bucket's gone.
It was
Oof.
a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is... No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
It's a man who needs to kneel before the bucket.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Let Stanley die.
Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Dead. 8. 8. 7. 6. Nice.
All of it, it's bucket time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs.
3 times. I know, right? That's really, really good RNG right there. Real office is definitely the best one to get.
Stepping into his manager's
I like
office,
that.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human. But
Again, as long as I don't get 3 normal hallways, I can PB. That's all I need. So we're like a third of the way through, a quarter of the way through the run already. Got 3 endings done. So we're going well, going well. Wait!
Wait,
Stanley said to the bucket.
can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3.
The
I want
number
to go back
3.
so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
The bucket said nothing.
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Perhaps the bucket had missed something.
Perhaps the bucket had... I should look into like this ending and figure out like the in-level record of it to see what people do. Because the part of me that thinks I don't have to press 3.
No, said Stanley to the bucket.
I can just stay in the elevator and not go in. But I think there's like a trigger where you have to like press 3 at some point.
Through so much together, and I just want you to see what
This one takes a while to be fair. I mean the few quick ones and there's a few that takes like 6-7 minutes. This one is one of those bit longer endings.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument.
Musician time.
He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He
Wield
told
a
stories
paintbrush.
through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a
I should be right now. I'm a minute ahead of PP. I use
the bucket appreciated what he was
to look at
doing.
my time right now and
The
compare it
bucket
to
conveyed absolutely nothing.
and you know minus the difference.
Crushed by a wave
I should be a minute fast. I'm a minute ahead of my PP right now. I think.
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The
Stanley.
question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be? Said Stanley. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others. It would get to see the world react to this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work. For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything. This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one. There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved,
Stanley.
He was a failure, and in that moment Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection,
So lonely.
no deeper understanding.
Ah, it's almost like that's the name of the ending. Haha. It's just the threes.
Slowly over many years,
3 makes people jealous. And no, make people lonely. That's what happens.
Less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit, only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
Eight, 7, 6. Oh my god. Let's go. What a run. What a run.
He clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
What a run. That's another blue hallway. It's the 4th one in a row. Oh my god. That's actually crazy.
To a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
The sacrifice. I gotta do the door strat.
Stepping in.
There we go. Lovely. Nice. Look at that. Crazy. Oh, my mouse lagged there for some reason. Look, the hallway's gonna convert magically into the normal hallway again. How crazy is that? Yeah, the escape ending. Nice. What's happening outside? That's really annoying. There we go. It felt longer. Why did I feel longer? Who's all this? It's not useful to me at all. There we go. We faintly hear the house music in the background as we sacrifice the bucket. just caressing the edge of the bucket. It's still so funny. Oh my god. There he goes. Eight. 7. 6. 5. I technically can do one more. 5. 4. 3. Come on, game. Don't just me now. 2. Hey!
It's bucket
Big!
time.
Insane ending now. Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Content
Stanley
warning.
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post.
Let's have a look at.
Might be fired for that.
What have I not seen yet in this room?
Why had he taken that risk?
Cold
Only
drinks.
because he believed everyone had vanished. His
Ooh.
boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe. He looked down at the bucket. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket
Nice.
returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. And that's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these.
1, 2,
He
B4.
held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone
What?
else's bucket, perhaps. How
What?
did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. He exclaimed, without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
The bucket.
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
Find
He had
me.
to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
Good to see it.
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and
Blacked out. So my PB, I got a normal hallway, an insane bucket destroyer, and obsession.
Marianne
So,
woke up on a day like any
The
other.
next this ending and the next two,
Picked up her
I lost
bucket,
timing.
confident security,
but hopefully
walked to her place.
I continue getting short hallways, which means that we get an improved chance of getting a PB.
Who had stumbled through
Let's go.
town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator
Has no
describing all of his
bucket.
actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass.
My
She
life
had to
kicks
go to
ass.
work.
8, 7, 6, 5.
All of it, bucket
Yes,
time.
come on. Keep it going. Let's keep it going.
The bucket tightly to his.
Let's
was
keep
not
this
the
going.
right way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind.
The bucket was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place.
We care about you, Stanley.
You see, your
Look, his
friends and I are
wife.
concerned
Hello,
about
wife.
Stanley.
Hello,
We've come
baby.
together here because
Hello,
we care about
computer.
you very
Hello,
much.
pencil sharpener.
What's this
Hello,
bucket
broom
you're
closet.
carrying around everywhere? The bucket is
Also,
a thing
hello,
from
wife.
The original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom
Oh,
Closet.
hi, Adventure
Because
Line.
that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket.
No, there isn't a set order.
Yes, I
As
know
long
you
as we
want
do
to
the
take
12
it, but you're
endings,
spending
that's
too
the
much
run.
time with it.
I do it this
Don't you
order
want
because
to
it's
have a
like
story involving the
you do it.
Adventure
I do
Line?
it all the endings like through the left door first, and then all the endings through the right door.
Look at that
So it's like
line.
organized,
Who knows where it'll go off to
but
next?
you can do it in any order you want.
Some silly music as
There's
well.
no real difference. Dun 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 da 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 da.
Now
Nice.
this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
Yeah, muscle memory
Don't you
basically.
remember
Yeah,
all those great jokes from the original dialogue. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs.
it's much easier to like arrange it this way.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're
Plus,
going to
Untimely
have to
Comedy has like a game over screen,
We need
so I
to
think
fix the bucket.
a few of the runners like take that as the final ending to get.
Is the bucket
Because you end the run where it says game over and then the
I
credits
think it'll
roll.
make a wonderful new
Nice
addition
little
to the
touch.
rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well fleshed out character with so much personality that to me,
Look at
it
all
already
this
feels as though
personality.
it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Yeah, that's exactly
Can you
right.
guess
Yeah.
what the bucket destroyer does?
Otherwise,
Surely
I'll get
it's
confused
special
with
for you.
like what I haven't done yet, stuff
Go
like
ahead
that.
now,
There
Stanley.
you go.
Say goodbye
Oh.
to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
God damn it.
Now,
Why isn't the
remember,
text-to-speech
it's
working?
crucial that you give
Thank
us
you,
a
11 years for the
I don't know
4
what the
months.
bucket destroyer will do if it
Hope you
can't
enjoyed the
destroy
emotes.
your
I added.
destroying
There's a new
buckets
emote.
is
The
all
yay
it knows.
emote is new.
That is its
Did you know that that
secret
took 4 days before I got verified? It's just the words yay. Why did it take so long to get approved? It is literally just the words, the word yay. That's it. I want to add that as a follower emote actually, but apparently I haven't met the requirements for a follower emote. It kinda sucks. I could add it to like BTTV or something, or like Frank Faces, whatever it's called, FFZ. FFZ. Could add it to that, maybe.
Like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans.
Do it for the
Give
fans,
what they
Stanley.
want. Hurry and
Stanley died. I could do... Okay, here's where the stream's gonna die, because for some reason cutscenes don't work with OBS, so ignore the jittering
so much
bucket
potential.
destroyer.
We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Magnificent. Okay. Eight. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. Come on, game. 2. Last one. Come on. Don't do it to me. Fuck you, game.
Just a step through
That
this
could have been a...
door, he thought to
Okay,
himself.
that's my first
all
normal
I need.
hallway.
If I can make it, it's
Hopefully it's a normal hallway. If it's long, I'm gonna cry. It's a normal hallway. We're good.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his. This was not the correct.
So I have at least a 9-second time save again on this run. next time I do it.
That the employee
Ah,
was simply
unfortunate.
the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind.
The bucket was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms.
How deeply touching. 8, 7. Yay!
All of it's bucket time.
Yeah, it's good I didn't do yippee or something.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling...
I replaced the, I got rid of the it's bad RNG emote, because, like, I still didn't like it. It looked really ugly. I think it's because the words are too small, so it looks really bad on a computer screen. So yeah, me changing it to yay is just nicer. And it still follows the Stanley Parable fonts anyway, so it's all good. Like, I recreated the fonts for this game for that emote. It looks, even on mobile, it looks really good. I like it. Yeah, everything is something else with Urban Dictionary. Yeah. I mean, yay is simple. I need to think. I want to have more emotes, but I can't think of any funny ideas. I remember months ago, I think it was you. It was someone else. He thought of the idea of the whiteboard as an emote. I just take a screenshot of the whiteboard in game and then put it as an emote. I could actually do that. That's pretty funny. But I need to, like, play around with, like, stretching it to fit the frame or whatever. It could be really funny though.
And the emptiness in my chest.
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah. Any word, 100% somebody has used it as a slur and added it to Urban Dictionary and defined it as a slur. It's weird.
Still haven't figured out why I see the world.
Yeah, just so messed up.
This bucket is in my arms.
Anyway, lagging stream again.
Why
It's unfortunate.
everything
Cutscenes are really
feels
bad.
so.
This game, I don't know why.
What do I do with this treasure?
Like,
I can
looking at
monetize it.
on my end, everything is fine. CPU isn't spiking.
It's unthinkable the amount
Internet
of
isn't
money
spiking. I think it's
people
just like the
pay
encoder.
for even just
The encoder that they
power
use,
with
or
the
whatever they
bucket.
use for the game, whenever it's in a cutscene, it messes up with OBS.
Ticket.
I don't understand why, though. It
Because
doesn't make
as soon as
sense.
this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that?
Strange, otherworldly noises. Okay. 8. Yay! First time. Let's go. Okay. Don't be an idiot. Don't mess this up.
This was not the correct way to the
Me at me.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
Yay!
It turned out to be
See, the
correct. No.
perfect use of the emote. This is exactly why I added it.
Stanley took the door.
It's just such a fun emote. It's just saying, yay.
No, said the bucket.
Oh, I love it.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. A cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed.
Fuck's sake. Did it again. Too early. Ah! Oh my god. 7. I threw it away again. I did the same mistake again. Okay.
Stanley clutched.
Not that bad a time loss. You can recover from this.
The meeting room.
You can recover from this. It's fine.
The bucket calling to him,
Wow.
telling him
I did it again. Too early.
was simply the
I should have been more patient. Should have been more patient.
Had the bucket turned out to be correct,
I think I'm getting confused with the height for
the bucket was
unrestricted when I had to jump. That's why I'm getting confused. I need to be more patient. Ah! Too eager.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to take this fact. He was firmly convinced
Yeah,
that the bucket had spoken to him.
If I waited another second, I would have worked out.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. There's a sign right there.
So annoyed.
No bucket
That's like
at this point.
What, a 20-second time loss maybe? 30 seconds?
Unless, what if the problem is that
I mean, how far ahead am I right now? I am probably a minute 30 ahead of my PB, so I'll still be a minute ahead, so it's not terrible. But, my god. So annoyed. I am so annoyed that I did that again. The same reason I failed my run, like, died last time. Same reason. I literally said don't be an idiot. Oh well. This is still recoverable. I think we're still gonna be fine.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket.
An actual bucket.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
No. 3D recreation of a bucket. Surely that's still a bucket. If it functions the same way,
Is this a bucket?
it should still be a bucket, right?
Correct. This is a
I guess it
bucket.
depends on the material that it's made when it's 3D printed. Bucket height.
4. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a
Gimme.
I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
Okay, next one. It's back again.
Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
Item 6 and there's nothing there, right? No, the trick question.
Is this a bucket? Trick question.
Bucket off.
Both. Gotcha.
Something goes wrong. Oh my god.
Item. Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere.
If I have an extra hotkey on my... If I had like a free button anywhere on my keyboard, I could set it so that
You and
I
both
press
know
it.
there
If I make a
isn't
mistake,
anything here.
I can
And
press
don't
that button
appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket.
and a
When
bucket gets
clearly
thrown
what
on
the
the screen.
bucket is
Like I
something,
threw the
and
bucket at this or
therefore
something like that.
nothing
That could be
possibly
pretty funny.
something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself. and
I still
myself
can't
is all
believe
I
I
had.
messed it up, man.
I'm afraid the bucket is
Can't
threatening to
believe I
tear
did
our
that.
relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
I need to remember that I don't have jumps. I can't do like the jump height of it.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait,
Was everything a bucket?
Every single thing in the game was a bucket. My God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is...
There it is. And time loss. Let's
I
go.
actually feel much more at ease.
How much time did I
It's
lose?
delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what.
It should be like 30 seconds, I think.
We'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. Come on, game, please. 2. Come on, please. Don't do it to me now. Fuck. Yeah.
Can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, it's bucket time.
That's the second normal hallway I've gotten. If I get another normal hallway in Untimely Comedy, his run's dead.
Stanley clutched the bucket
Probably.
tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket...
We'll still finish it, see what
telling
happens.
him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind.
The bucket was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh! Shocker. Hello, checkers.
Now pick up the...
Text speech still broken. Thank you for the 2 months. How are you?
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley.
You're seeing the remnants of a run that could have gone away, but I think we can make it work.
He was lonely and could use a friend. And then, when
Oh
he was
my
stressing,
God.
he began to believe the bucket could speak to him. The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Bucket.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To
I'm
see
still
him
so
like this, possessing only
annoyed
inanimate
that I messed up that
objects.
one split.
I want to say something to him.
Oh
but
my
I don't know how
God.
I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen.
I got lucky. I only lost like 27 seconds to it.
Well, I'll try anyway. Stanley,
Stanley.
hear me. Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. You see,
Keep forgetting
the
this there.
He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon
Still
a time, it
taking
was me
orders
he
from
took
the
orders
bucket.
Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal. It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of
Shiny bucket.
Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it. Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look
Jazz
like your
music.
average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better.
Enjoy your walk, 11 years. Thanks for stopping by.
Room to another. was saying.
Nice fun fact, this chair has no collision.
Room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket.
It's just a
Why do I
bucket.
feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Ooh la la.
I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's
This
wrong
is
with me? I don't understand.
13
Perhaps if I had the
past
bucket, this
midnight.
would be less
Very cool.
confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Give me the bucket, Stanley.
Give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Time loss. 8. 7. 6. 5. Come on, please. 4. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay.
Stanley,
I'm now ahead. The timer is different by what? 46 seconds? So I'm currently 58 seconds ahead of my PB. No, 58 seconds ahead of PB. We're still fine. We can recover from this. Again, the timing, like, they get more and more out of sync. So right now, take the time you see on, take the delta you see on the splits, and then like minus 46 seconds more. So right now I'm 58 seconds ahead of PB. It's complicated. Trust me. We are ahead of PB by a good amount. We could have been more ahead if I didn't lose that 40 seconds, 30 seconds of being an idiot.
And he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket.
It's fine. You can still do this.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley.
It's funny, Stanley.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult.
Comedic timing is so difficult.
There isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing?
How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upwards at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for
Optimal
timing.
condition.
To
I wanna
begin the joke,
learn how to
start by
edit
stating and
something
spelling
in
your
this
name.
style. It's pretty funny.
Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, with each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invaders who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles, all of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed,
And may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Let's go.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where
I mean, this could be a
Well,
55.
king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke.
Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you
Proud.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after.
There's 1 minute of dialogue after it says game over.
I don't deserve.
So let's see how good I am.
I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my.
This is a 55:49. This is a 55:49. I have beaten world record by, let me check right now. That is faster than world record, 100%. Let me check. Full endings, glitchless, bucket. Yep, 55:49. World record is 56:04. It could have been so much more. I have 20 seconds of time, 30 seconds of time save still. Oh my god, I could have been way better.
No. We're
Let's
getting a
go.
out of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this.
Oh my
I'm no
god.
good at these jokes. I need more instructional
Let's
videos.
go.
Exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king
Got
of comedy
it.
again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
There you go. 55, 48, 893. And you have beaten world record by, when is that? That's 16 seconds? It could have been beaten by 36 seconds. I could have beaten it by almost like 40 seconds. Oh my god. Let's go! We got it!